I'll try to do this without getting, that was a gorgeous song. I've been posed the question, how do you raise an other sexual child, meaning not heterosexual? I hate to say this, but there is no difference. The raising of the child isn't different. No matter what their sexuality is. Their sexuality is just that, it's theirs, it's not yours. All you have to do is raise a child like any other child you've ever had. They're just a child, or one of them, however many you have. They will have struggles with boyfriends or girlfriends, crushes, heartbreak, losing friends, fights with not friends, finding clothing that fits their body, kids being mean because, name a reason. None of those things differentiate one child from the next. None of those things are unique to any sexuality. They hurt, no matter who it is. All you have to do is be there and love your child. Loving your child isn't hard. It's not supposed to be hard. You made a choice when you found out you were pregnant. All you have to do is love them. Raise them to be good and productive members of society. Give them opportunities to grow. Teach them boundaries. Let them make mistakes, as much as it hurts us, while they have your net and your love to fall back on. I'll restate, none of these things that we do as parents is different from one child to the next. Your obligation is the same. They're all individuals. They get to be individuals. The most important thing we do is love our family and raise our children. Nothing at all comes before that. I know that I'm standing at a church, but not even that comes before what you were supposed to have promised that child. Just love them and want the best for them. People begin dreaming when they're pregnant, imagining what their child's life, and sometimes expectations on what that life is going to be, what they want for them. When their child then chooses a different path than what they spent so much time talking and dreaming about with their spouse or their family or friends, they can mourn the loss of that expectation when they find out it's never going to happen in the manner that they thought it was going to happen, in the way they had shaped things in their head. So sometimes I think what happens is, as my girl helped explain, was that it almost feels like that person died. That thing that they created is not going to come to be. It kind of crushes them. Some people have trouble getting over that. But really, it's did your hopes and expectations include that you'll grow up, that they'll grow up, they'll go to school, get a job, marry, have a happy family? What about that's different other than the specifics that even the parent would not have appreciated being putting on that? You didn't want your parents deciding what job you were going to have, or what your husband was going to look like, or your wife, what friends you were going to have, that you would wear that color that they hate so much. You still get to decide. Your parents didn't get to pick for you. We got to let them do their thing. We got to let them do it. Rianne is my girl. She was my firstborn. She set the bar, I guess, on the three. She wasn't raised to know that she ever had a closet to come out of. We didn't have those. Her rule for John and I, for all of our kids, all of the kids, was that she find the person that she was supposed to be with. A healthy and loving relationship that allows each person to grow and be better people for being with that other person, and that loves her as much as she loves them. Find your favorite human in the world and build a life with them. I didn't and don't care what color they are. If it was a man, a woman, I didn't care. Just be happy, be healthy. If it's not healthy, I will step in with a hammer. Still her mom, and Dad's standing right behind me. Just be loved. Sorry I got messed up, but that's it. Just, there are no closets, That's it.
Love.
Good morning. My the Unitarian Universalist congregation in Fullerton, so it's a pleasure to be here with you guys today. So coming out is not a one-time thing. It's a reoccurring event. One must come out to friends, family, acquaintances, coworkers, etc. Most importantly, though, one must come out to oneself. And sometimes one must come out to the same people several times. And that's certainly been the case for me. I first came out as bisexual to my mom at age 21. I was open and honest, unapologetic, but not crass. She was the daughter of a conservative evangelical Christian, so naturally she had always been very muted about the topic of sexuality. But she did have some questions for me. She said, well, are you sexually active? Do you have a boyfriend? And do you like one more than the other? To answer the last one, I don't pay too much attention to whether I prefer men or women more. My attractions fluctuate. There's no quota or ratio that bisexuals have to adhere to keep their bisexual license. Anyway, after I came out to her in 2012, we never spoke of my sexuality again. I had assumed that she would have told my father, but I learned that she didn't. It wouldn't be until 2016 that I'd have to come out to them again. So, in 2016, I'd been dating a man named Jason. He lived near the San Fernando Valley, while I lived in Placentia, and I was going to college. So, distance and time were big obstacles for us. We'd met through two friends and hit it off, and just 2 dates in, I hadn't told my parents about him, but I was ready to share my romance with my loved ones. I called him to ask for a third date. Hey, Jason, I really like you, and I want to see you this weekend, but I have a large family function on Saturday night. No pressure at all, but if you want to come as my date, I'd really like you to be there with me. He was flattered and agreed to come. He understood the significance of all of this, that this was only our third date. And he was going to meet my extended family, who I'd never come out to before. And he'd be the first person, male or female, that I'd be introducing to the family at all. So there was a lot riding on this. It's a lot of pressure for a third date. Long story short, my beautiful family was very accepting and kind. The largest issue that came across was one that I found within myself. I was less affectionate, I wouldn't even hold his hand, and I'd introduce him as a friend rather than a date. Obviously, he didn't like being treated like a dirty little secret. He stayed around for a couple hours, then left saying he felt kind of uncomfortable, and I totally understood. Coming out to people is important for the power of visibility. However, coming out is not a requirement, and one must feel safe from any form of retaliation. The most important coming out event is coming out to oneself. As accepting as the world is becoming, there's still a lot of heteronormative and social cues and constructs that reinforce homophobia, biphobia, and transphobia. Sadly, those negative forces are many times internalized by the LGBTQ individuals. Coming out, even to oneself, isn't always easy. It takes practice. It's a process. But I can assure you this, it does get easier and it does get better. Thank you.